All right, it's the Keefe to the City Yankees podcast, and the Yankees split the doubleheader with the Angels on Wednesday at the stadium. They win the first game 5-2. They lose the second game 8-2. A rather disappointing day because the Angels suck, and that's a team, when they come into your building, you should beat up on them. But they do have the opportunity still to win the series on Thursday. Also disappointing, though, because the Orioles did win on Wednesday night. So now they're tied again for the division, but essentially the Yankees are in second place because they don't hold the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Orioles. They would be tied with that if they hadn't lost that last game before the All-Star break, but 4-6 against the Orioles puts them in second place when the two teams are tied, and that's why that series with the Orioles later in the season, the Yankees will need to go and sweep that series to win the head-to-head tiebreaker, but we'll worry about that when we get there. The Yankees, they came out hitting in the first game, scored 2 runs in the first, at a third in the second, up 3-0, had 2 more in the fourth, it's 5-0, and then they kind of just sat on that 5-0 lead the rest of the way. Angels ended up scoring 2 in the seventh to make it 5-2. They did have base runners late, but weren't able to capitalize to give the Yankees a 5-2 win. Luis Gil didn't look great, but still gave them 5 scoreless, which is remarkable. He's done that a few times this season. He didn't have his best stuff. He's grinding through a lot of long at-bats, but still finds a way to give them 5 innings, 5 scoreless, 6 Ks, 5 walks, 2 hits, pitched around trouble, got out of jams, did his job. Bullpen, De Los Santos gave up a run. Cousins gave up the inherited run from De Los Santos with a 2-run homer. Weaver comes in, scoreless inning, 2 Ks. Combs saves the game, scoreless inning with 2 Ks, no one on base, so that's good to see from Clay Holmes. Going into the first game, though, the issue with the lineup, Alex Verdugo batting leadoff. I don't know why you would have the only everyday player with a sub 300 on base percentage batting leadoff for you. Verdugo's been below league average this season. He's a league average hitter for his career. He's not an on base guy. But the Yankees keep trying to force this, or rather Aaron Boone, because he owns the lineup card, keeps trying to force this. I'm not sure why. Verdugo did have 2 doubles in the game, but both off Davis Daniel, the starter, who's making his 8th career appearance. There's no Davis Daniels in the postseason. And when I look at the Yankees, whether it was during Wednesday's doubleheader, whether it was during the collapse, whether it's opening day, I look big picture. What's going on with the team now and how that will play in October, because that's the goal here, is to have the team in the best possible position to win in October. Verdugo batting leadoff isn't that. And part of me wants to think that Boone's just giving him the most at-bats possible right now, hitting in front of Soto and Judge to get going, to get back to his league average batting line. But on the other hand, these are important games they need to win the division, to avoid the wild card series. So I don't know how you can continue to bat him first when he gets on base under 30% of the time, the worst everyday player on the team at doing so. He has these moments, yeah, he had 2 doubles again. Davis Daniel. Not facing Davis Daniel in big games, not facing him in October. Then in the second game, Boone goes with Gleyber Torres in the leadoff spot. And Torres has been an atrocious leadoff hitter whenever he's been asked to be in his career, especially this season, because this season he's been miserable. The good thing is that Boone didn't play Torres in the first game. Usually Torres is a lock to play both games of a doubleheader. Been that way his entire career. But he didn't play the first game. He plays the second game. He's a leadoff hitter in the second game. Again, another blah showing from Gleyber. 1 for 4 with an RBI. Came on a sac fly. When at the moment they didn't need a sac fly. They needed a base runner down 6 runs. But he did pick up the RBI. Gleyber, who went on that run before the trade deadline, went on that run after he got benched, making people think, oh, maybe the benching lit a fire under him. Maybe his name being in rumors and speculation for the deadline put a fire under him. It didn't. 522 OPS now over the last 2 weeks. Right back in the shitter where he's been the entire season. He's got a 309 on base. Not a leadoff hitter's on base percentage. He's got the same crappy OPS as Verdugo. Sub 700. Not a leadoff hitter. Now you could say the Yankees don't have a leadoff hitter, which is pretty much true. They don't. The ideal situation is they would bump Soto up to first and bat Judge second. And if you're under this assumption that Soto should be hitting behind Judge so they don't walk him, then you'd put Judge first and Soto second. But the Yankees aren't going to do that. Michael Kay said he talked to Buck Showalter about the situation with Soto and Judge, and he said he would flip Judge and Soto. So then Kay asked Boone about that, and he said he's been thinking about it. But now they've played 2 games since then, and neither of the 2 games did Judge bat before Soto, so he's not really going to do that. When Boone has a thought or someone recommends something, it takes weeks for a change to happen. So the Yankees aren't going to move Soto out of 2. They're not going to move Judge out of 3. Someone has to bat first. Torres can't be that guy. Verdugo can't be that guy. We know Volpe can't be that guy because he doesn't walk. He swings at nearly every pitch thrown to him. Chisholm, he's not really that guy either. Wells, I wouldn't mind seeing him there, but he's been so good being the cleanup hitter that you'd leave him there. So that brings us to DJ LeMahieu, who has been on fire. Another big day at the plate in the second game yesterday, 2 for 4, scored a run, drove in a run. Going back his last 9 at-bats now, 7 of them, he hit the ball 95 miles an hour or harder. 4 of them were 101 or harder. On Wednesday, he hit the hardest ball of the game in the second game at 108. He's hitting line drives. He's putting the ball in the air. He's elevating the ball. He's going to right center. He's doing the things that DJ LeMahieu did when he was great. And maybe, just maybe, he's finally healthy. And Aaron Boone was asked about LeMahieu's recent run and what he's looked like at the plate, and he said something very interesting in his answer.
I feel like he's just a little more balanced through the entire swing, holding his posture well. Smoked 2 balls for hits and actually smoked the ball to right center for the out as third at bat. So, looking more like DJ, some life through the zone, but I feel like Holden is better balanced throughout the zone, not breaking down at all in his swing. And, it would obviously be huge if we keep him going like this, because obviously that role is there, an important one for us. So it's good to see him continue to move the needle. I know he's been working on some subtle things. Feels like he's been getting some traction, and now over the last week getting some results.
That role that Boone talks about, is that a role, does he mean the utility role where he doesn't play every day and he's filling in at first and he's filling in at third and maybe he could play second, come in as late as the defensive replacement? Is that the role he means? Or does he mean that role is there, that role of the leadoff hitter, the role that LeMahieu used to be and what he was great at? I hope it is, because LeMahieu becoming his old self means he goes back to the top of the lineup. It means you find a way to play him every day at second base and you put Torres on the bench. My dream is that by October, through September call-ups, through the last 2 months of the season, Dominguez goes on fire in the minors, gets called up, unseats Verdugo. Torres gets benched because LeMahieu goes off, and you have a much deeper, much better lineup. Because as long as Torres and Verdugo are there, they're going to bat in the top half of the order. Verdugo led off the first game. Torres led off the second game, and Verdugo slotted down to the cleanup spot. It's bad enough Verdugo gets to bat leadoff sometimes. How do you bat him cleanup ahead of Stan, ahead of Chisholm? That doesn't make any sense. So that's my hope. My hope is LeMahieu goes to leadoff because he's doing so well. He becomes a starting second baseman again. Or he goes to third and you put Chisholm at second, whatever you want to do there. Those 2 in the starting lineup and Torres to the bench, that's my dream. That would be the perfect way for Gleyber's Yankees tenure to end, is him finally getting benched because of his lack of performance, his mental mistakes, his base running mistakes, his fielding mistakes, for all of those reasons. DJ LeMahieu has the opportunity here to do so. Again, it won't surprise me if he's not even in the lineup on Thursday. That's just the way it's gone for him. He had a career-high 6 RBI day last week, had a few days off, comes back, does great over the weekend, gets a few days off because of the rain and the off day, doesn't play the first game, plays the second game, has a great night. Won't surprise me if he's not in the lineup on Thursday, but he should be. At this point, he should be in there every day because the Yankees need offense around Soto and Judge, consistent offense, and he's giving it to them. So that'll do it for today. Yankees-Angels series finale on Thursday night. Big opportunity for a series win. Going against Tyler Anderson, really the only Angel starter you're worried about. Nestor Cortez, though, at home, where he's great. Yankees bats need to show up in a way they did on a Wednesday night. So that'll do it for today. Talk to you after Thursday's game.